Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited because my good friend Kelly Hampton is back with us again. And we're going to be having a lot of fun talking about all sorts of things, including how to heal using highly charged star codes. And so these are brand new codes that Kelly's been working with recently, probably longer than I know, but still she's been working with them recently. And we're going to talk about how these codes work, some of the testimonials, some of some of the nefarious codes that Kelly was just telling me about, what they are. So we're going to learn about what harmonic star codes are. We're going to learn about harmonic clusters to use in our home to create more abundance in our lives. Okay, cool. We're going to hear from Archangel Michael. We're going to hear from the Council of Nine. We're going to be introduced to some simple codes to help our pets heal and evolve. My pet is here somewhere at my feet. Yes, he is. He's my little shadow, I call him now. And we're going to be here talking with all of you for your questions, your comments, your feedback as well. So you can type in the chat your question. You can raise your hand. And when it comes time to taking live questions, you can actually come on as well. And so we're going to be talking about all of that and so much more. And for those of you who don't know Kelly, Kelly is rapidly becoming an international teacher and healer. She first saw the face of Christ appear in a glass of water as a child. And as a child, she was often visited by her Pleiadian family. And later, she connected with her beloved mother from the other side and has since become a most sought after gifted medium. And Archangel Michael placed energetic channeling rods into her ears later, and this eventually resulted in the first of 3 channeled books, Into the White Light, The Revelations of Archangel Michael. And Christ and many guides continue to teach Kelly spiritual lessons throughout her lifetime in preparation for her to help anchor the Christ grid of ascension. She is an elemental, angelic, ascended master, and intergalactic channel. And since 2010, she is also the founder of multiple 5D to 12D groundbreaking healing systems given to her by Archangel Michael, including the Star Healing Intergalactic Energy, Star Healing Equine, and Star Healing for Small Animals, which some are calling the most powerful healing systems on the planet. She's also the founder of Ascended Spaces for creating abundance in our new earth and certifies practitioners in all these modalities and worldwide. I think Kelly just came back from Japan, right, Kelly? So Kelly, welcome to the show, and you can tell us about that too, because you were just teaching people and getting them certified, weren't you? So Kelly, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. Nice to be back. Hi, everybody.
Good to have you back. And I know you just came back recently from Japan, right? Tokyo?
Yes. Yes, I made several trips there. You know, they're as a culture, they're very open, and I think that's culturally, you know, just as the places in our world, you know, and some are more open and advancing than others. It's just the way it is right now. And I don't think that's a gross misinterpretation. So, yeah, but I'm happy that, you know, of course, that you and I and maybe many of your callers that more are awakening, right? More are being open to things. And in fact, you know, when we get into our call today, almost in a way, the idea about light language, it's almost to me a little old, you know. But
yeah.
You know, all things are relative, and there's infinite knowledge in everything. So I'm, you know, looking forward to sharing some of that with everybody.
Awesome. So today, I know that we're going to be talking about quite a bit of different things, but mostly we're looking at your new star codes and healing with these star codes and how they were channeled. Perhaps you could talk about that. And also, I wanted to share just really briefly a few of the testimonials that you recently got from using, from, you know, both from the healing as well as from using the codes, right? And so, you know, people have talked about seeing the Pleiadians placing colored cones into their eyes to heal them. Richie from Japan said, when I used the code for prosperity, it started making me sleepy as a release. I felt energy inside me is reacting so fast. I almost felt like I was somewhere like in space, very calm and peaceful. And somebody else used the pain code on her forehead and her headache disappeared immediately. And Kiko, I guess, said these are very powerful. I started yawning as a release to my lack of prosperity right away. Let's see.
And if I can just add something, yes. And Keiko's a very prosperous person, you know,
right.
By all outward appearances, you know. Of course, there's multiple forms of prosperity, but when we're talking about the prosperity code, that's pretty much finances. You know, there are many other codes that talk about different other aspects of our prosperity, you know, like love and contentment, joy, greater health by conditions, all these things. So, and, you know, just as you're sharing these, a person doesn't have to see or feel anything, you know. In fact, many people may not. But we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into, you know, our call.
Awesome. So I know you wanted to start off with the process first.
Well, yes. If, you know, just to center us maybe, and FYI, you know, I've got two screens going, so I am totally focused on our time here together. Just two different screens here for today. So, once again, you know, thank you. Some of you I may have worked with before. Some of you might be completely new to my work, and thank you for having me back on again. So when I do channeling, I'll channel our intro. I might look aside, you know, a little, but I don't close my eyes. I'm not what they call a trance channel, if you're not familiar with my work. So because the light codes represent light language, Alara and I thought today that I would bring through the Council of Nine, and I'll describe that to everyone. And then as we take personal calls, Archangel Michael can be people's guides. That's how we thought we would do it for your clarity and understanding. But as it was described to me several years ago, the Council, or the Council of 9 or 12, sometimes I reference it that way, they are millions of light beings from the 9th to 12th dimensions that Archangel Michael says gather and speak through one voice, which makes sense. You know, you can only, it'd be difficult to channel multiple voices, I think. But in any event, their numbers, when he said that, I thought that was, I heard that the first time, incredible. Millions to trillions was what Michael said. Christed light beings here for our ascension. He said they cannot be interfered with. We might talk a little bit about interference as it relates to, well, spiritual protection as that relates to part of the package offering. But in any event, probably most of you audience can infer what interference might mean. So that's significant. And then Michael said once, well, this might be interesting to ask the council, you know, when the ascension energies are in place, Michael said they'll go back to their other duties, basically. So, you know, might be interesting to ask, you know, when is that projected? Because as your group probably knows and understands, as I come to know it, there's different types of ascension, or by that I mean there's personal ascension, there's planetary ascension, there's quadrant ascensions across the cosmos. And so we might ask him to kind of narrow it down, and we could have a call on ascension and not necessarily codes. But that's how it will flow. So in that mix of millions and trillions, I suppose Ashtar Sharon, the galactic commander, might be in there. I suppose King Theo might be in there, that represents Telothian and Lemurian energies. And, you know, I suppose, you know, whatever these millions to trillions of light beings are, I mean, I don't even know what a trillion is. Is a trillion a million?
I think a trillion is 100 million.
100 million. Woo!
I'm going to guess. I have no idea.
100 million. So let me just, call them in, invoke them. Invoking them is the same as invoking any guide, ascended master, calling their name. That's the simplest an invocation. So I call on, as the work I do, I call on who I want to be present, So to get us started here, we are calling on the council to provide maybe a message to get us started, or a centering exercise, or something to bring us together as we unite here with our hearts and minds to enliven, enlighten, heal, if that's the case that's needed, expand. So do you have, what would you like to say? Do you have a message for us, please? Okay, this is what I'm hearing. They're starting to say that this is a time that we knew would always be coming to your Mother Earth. And as you're banded together as a family, I think this is the message that we would have for those listening. To think of yourselves as a family. Many times the word community is used. We ourselves are not here to dissect which word and words have more power over one another, except to say community has a vibration and family has another, doesn't it? They're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so community is not quite as much heart-centeredness, even if a family is broken by what we're saying and sharing. So again, there are small things that can mean a lot. And if we're talking about bringing your hearts and minds together, more together, for this intention in this time and space across all timelines and spaces, why don't we welcome ourselves and say, hello, friends? Use friends. Will you think about using the word friends or friendship community? That might even be most high, don't you think, they're saying?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I like that.
So thank you. Please continue. So friends, we say, welcome. We knew this time was always coming, the time of what mankind's awakening, mass awakening. There is still quite more to do. And perhaps in your time spent with these two vessels, you'll find that you'll be drawn to learning and working with codes that will help you connect across dimensions, not just what might help a pain in your mind or your fingers or your joints, but working with the codes, again, to connect families and form friendships with all the multiple dimensionals that are here to assist you. Even if we call the ranking and phylum in the battalions of angels, family members, Christed intergalactics, again, labels are only a placeholder. But what we're trying to say to you is that it is our hope that in this time spent together, that she will prevail and share by your own interest codes that will help you connect with other realms for the purpose of building friendship communities. As we know that there is still much more work to be done on planet Earth, we also know that much more has already been integrated. If you would have called upon us even 5 years ago, we would say something to your minds like, 1/3 of the population might have been in ascension frequencies. Again, we're referencing Earth time in a parallel dimension of 5 years. So even that is a great number. One more statement about time frames, if we may. 10 years ago, less than that, of course, and more recently, in the most recent time frame, sometimes depending upon where we're looking, roughly a quarter of the population of the Earth beings have felt some energies of what we're calling ascension, whether they know it or not. And so we feel as though we're very much blessed to be a very small part of this communing of the friendship community. And we hope that if you do not have understanding about something, that you simply ask, because all things can be discovered, rediscovered, made more whole. We think we will step aside now and let the journey begin.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I love that friendship communities, you know, and recognizing each other as friends. Yeah,
That's nice.
that was, yeah. And you're right about, or they're right. A lot of times people don't even realize that they are experiencing ascension energies. They just think, I don't feel good, I feel sick, and like, you know, the physical symptoms, right? They don't even recognize that they might be experiencing that. They just think, I have the flu. I had the flu. You know, for 3 weeks, and I knew it had to do with more downloads, more shifting, more change. You know, and since then there has been quite an internal shift and change within me. So I knew it was not just a physical flu,
Mm-hmm.
but it was something that was interesting to go through nonetheless. All right, so all right, so how's everyone doing? That was fun. So that was that the Council of 9?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. You know, if you want me to be engaged in the conversing in the chat, or will you lead me? Because otherwise I got to get a little closer. Just let me know.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, hi everybody.
So we're going to do questions in a little bit, but for now I wanted to talk about those
Yes.
the star codes, right?
Yes, sure. Well, the most recent, you know, work that I've been doing is, you know, focusing a little more on the star codes themselves. And the star codes are harmonic codes, as Michael calls them, or they could be referred to as star harmonic codes. What they are is they're a form of light language that Archangel Michael says every man, woman, and child can use for healing. That's the simplest explanation of what they are. And they grew out of star healing intergalactic energy, which we'll be talking about a little later, or through the package offering or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the harmonics were, in terms of new, I'd say about 5 years ago, just to give people a sense of this development. You know, I'm taught things just like you are, and everyone else is. You know, I don't ask, really. I didn't ask what are star codes. I mean, Michael just, when it's time, just like the books and the, you know, or the healing systems or whatever the case is. A lot of times I get assignments, you know.
Right.
So, or when the time is right. So, in Mount Shasta, which we'll be talking about a little bit today too, I believe. Anyway, my first introduction was downloading codes to connect with Saturn, Jupiter, the great central sun, let's say God mind,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the creator, all that is. And now, of course, that teaching is available to people to do the same. And so, and of course, we'll need to get to how you use codes and different things today. So that was, in terms of reference, that was shown to me, taught to me, why making these connections, Michael feels, is helpful to us. You know, it's sort of like this in many ways. Many of the things you referenced, you know, are vibrating higher, and Michael's wisdom has been, which I think is great, not to discount any teaching, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he reminds us, you can keep reading an old textbook that's a little outdated, or you can pick up a new one and read one. And certainly, if we're talking about light language and Christed intergalactics and things of this nature, Dominion, even the new astrology system where Michael acknowledges life in other dimensions and how, you know, how these things can be of value to us. It's, you know, it's sort of kind of like if you ever wear fashion and it's like outdated, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you can still wear it, you know. But anyway, back to the codes. So that was kind of that. Then fast forwarding a little bit, and I, you know, when the Book of Animals came out or downloaded to me, that was kind of the next time that Michael talked about what excuse me, taught us what harmonic codes are and how to use them. And again, and in that case for animals, and probably in our call, I'd like to give everyone a couple of codes that, you know, if you feel like you're here to do something, you're not quite sure what to do, but you have you know, the genuineness and kindness in your heart to do something. These codes can help energetically. They're beams of light, Michael says. And so even if you set the intention with any of the codes that we'll be sharing, and we'll get to how you'd use the codes if you're drawn to the package, a lot of it, they're highly charged by a variety of things, okay? The codes, let me explain what the codes are first before I get too far into that. The codes can be numbers, they can be colors, they can be shapes, they can be arrangement of things. So in this last, let's say 5 years or so, Michael also introduced harmonics, because you know that, what was it, 2012 or even before 2012, the word harmonic convergence, or that concept of harmonic converging. And it's interesting that in a way that the council, well, to me it is, you know, what did they ask us to think about the word friendship or family, excuse me, family, because Michael hopes that we use the word harmonic. Even he says when we say it, we're elevating ourselves. You know, when we say words like joy, we are, and etc. So harmonics is in there. Might seem like it wouldn't be, but it is. And so the harmonics in our homes, which we promise we touch on here today, are called harmonic clusters. And some of you are familiar with them. Many of you probably are not yet. But in that sense, to create more abundance in our homes, they are an arrangement of objects that Michael calls harmonic clusters. In the home system, the arrangement of the objects are candles, by the way, of a certain color, a certain number, a certain order. So, for example, from Michael's home space system, the harmonic cluster, again, we use the same concept, is an arrangement of pink candles in a circle. There's a certain number. So not all the codes have numbers. Not all the codes have colors and numbers. Not all the codes have geometric shapes. You know, what I'll be sharing today and what's in the package, and even when we talk about animals, everything has great depth. As I said earlier, we all know everything has infinite knowledge. And so the codes that I'll be sharing are kind of simple. And Michael tells us, don't be, in fact, I could read directly in a minute, don't be misled if you think a few simple numbers and colors are not powerful, or that they don't really mean anything. He said, don't be misled. Okay, so they can be more elaborate. So when I work in different retreat areas, we will use harmonic codes that are more elaborate. So it's appropriate to kind of, you know, teach at the level where the greatest understanding is. And so in that sense, they are, again, either colors, arrangement of objects. They're not complex sacred geometry. You don't have to see anything. You don't have to have any of your clairs, you know, happening. That's partly why I'm here. If you don't have that, you know, those portals or channels open, everyone can visualize, intend, imagine, write down, or wear. We'll talk about all those things. These simple codes, even children. Okay, so
awesome. We like simple and easy.
Yeah, right. And something that, you know, can potentially be over a person's head depending upon where they are in their soul journey, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what working with Michael all these years, primarily Michael, though many other guides, as you know, he makes things, I feel, really clear. And I hope your audience, you know, feels the same way, that he's very, very clear. It's not, there's no lofty, you know, anything in a way. Generally, he'll present images, you know, if we don't have understanding about something. So anyway, that's the way I work with him. And so the codes are charged by many sources, as Michael tells us. And the light languages come from a variety of sources. It's not important in a way, unless it's important to your, your callers. But in the teaching that Michael asked me to share, it's not important to know what plane of consciousness that code is coming from. However, at the same time, if it's important to you, then intuit it and see. But again, it's because Michael just tells us some of the codes are certainly from Pleiades. If I can just share a few. Some are from Mars, Jupiter, Nebula, and Centaurus, the Holy Council, and many more. So just like that council I channeled a minute ago, apparently, it's for me or your listeners, we could have gone to Ashtar. I could have brought through just Ashtar, but why not have sort of more in a way? So the light codes themselves, and Michael told me this early when I was asking, some of them are going to have multiple, like a tapestry. Some of them are going to, if we're wondering again, sourcing them, some of them are going to have multiple influences. They're not all going to be Jupiterian, or whatever the case may be. So they're charged by nature of their source. Okay. And so they are an extension, as I started to mention earlier, of star healing intergalactic energy, which I've been blessed to have been given 10 years ago now. And that's like a full system. And that system developed partly to remove implants and kind of the negative codes that were placed within us. The codes, of course, that I was just talking about are harmonic healing codes. They're for healing, body, mind, or spirit, and I guess we could say expansion, because there are codes for manifesting, there's codes for motivating. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of codes, and we'll go into those a bit more in a moment. But so would this be a good place to maybe, do you want to take a break or call, or can I share with everybody what the codes are that were not so wonderful?
Yeah, let's start with that first. Sure.
Okay. Okay. So from this, as Michael tells us, some codes are going to be useful for one code might be enough for one person or one animal, just like anything in life, right? One person might benefit totally from nothing but affirmations. For another person, that might be a tool, but that's not going to be enough, So you think of these teachings as having infinite capacity, but depending upon the need, in a way. So in the greatest of need, Archangel Michael says, and still recommends, star healing intergalactic energy as a system. That's why I continue to train healers, because I asked Michael if this code work would be in conflict with that system that, he's presented a decade now. And he said, no, it's really a way to empower people more, so that we're not asking people that are not advanced healers to remove implants. We're not asking them to remove the nefarious codes and do DNA structuring and things like that the system does, like a qualified person, healer like myself does, but to give people, these simpler tools. And so what I'd like to share with everyone now is these codes that Archangel Michael feels that knows, I guess, were placed within us way, way long ago by the Anunnaki. And some of this teaching, I know, again, resulted from Michael's teaching in the second book, 2012 and Beyond, which is still available to people. I believe we're presenting it in the package as well. And so that not only is it available, but that, I feel that any and all of Michael's teachings, it's timeless, or any teaching from a master is timeless. It's not bound by time, and and so that's where, some history about nefarious beings, came to be and about DNA restructuring. They had to teach me that before they could teach me the systems and so on. So that's where how my teaching largely unfolded. But so why was this done? This was done, and a lot of you might probably know even more to add to this, but the simple understanding, is that this was done when there was a galactic war for Earth. That was done because Earth contained many precious metals and minerals. And so there's probably prehistory before the Anunnaki, and, step in if you need to. But that was done to limit human beings, to enslave us, to help us get the gold, primarily the gold, out of the earth, and to limit us, to keep us separate from all knowing, all being. Mm-hmm. And so the way the star system came to be was to, replenish, morph, shapeshift, what you will, remove the things that Michael knows that were done to change our structuring. And some of that change involved the placement of codes, mm-hmm. okay, nefarious codes. And if you think about the, God-mind perfection of perfect perfection, things like shame, blame, ridicule, critical thinking, not to mention, the obvious ones, things like anger and, they were not, that was not how, my understanding is, how the human existence was to have been lived and created. In fact, Michael describes our planet as having intended to be nirvana, with all the beautiful animals, rainbow-colored animals. And just to make a point, he promises that we're going to be in that space again. And that's the promise to keep in our minds, not what we see still needs to be done. Not to say don't involve yourselves, but so back to the origin of nirvana, this nirvanic experience. So slavery codes were placed within us. I'll just list some of them, mm-hmm. Because when I asked Michael how many codes, his response was between 400 and 500 codes. I thought he was going to say like maybe 10 or I don't know, 20.
Yeah.
400 codes. I had no idea. But so, aging codes.
So Kelly, like when we're doing our work, we're doing healing work, we're meditating, we're doing work with healers such as yourself. Are some of those codes automatically removed, or like just because we're doing the work, or
well, yes, certainly not everybody in the world needs to experience a star healing intergalactic session to have their codes and implants removed, right? As Michael tells us, some people are going to be receiving the ascension energies in total. Mm-hmm. Some people never will. And some people are, probably just starting to, or even not clear if they are, or whatever, what have you. Right. But as he places the star system in our minds, he says, wouldn't you rather get there quicker?
Right.
Let me take them out for you, right, or whatever. But to answer your question, maybe we'll go back to the council if on this real quick. So, council, please. You're hearing this. And the reason some of you may wonder, I like to call in again who I want verbally so I don't get interfered with, or do my best to minimize, that. So how can you respond to that question, please? They're saying it's unique unto the individual, well said. So I don't know, they have a whole lot more to add to what I said there. But even if you, in terms of energy, even if you don't know you have a code of judgment, let's say, mm-hmm. all you have to do really is go within yourself, make it a day, and what are you judging, right?
Right.
Who are you judging? And But if I may, so there was an aging code. Interesting, I thought. Some codes were infused into our spine. Ego codes. Apparently, the infinite creator did not create us to have egos. Humbleness. Moral codes. I heard sex codes, addiction codes, sadness codes, regret, anger, violence, shame, and some of the others I already mentioned. What do the codes look like, if you were curious? Depends upon when they were placed and by whom, was what Michael said. Some, and if I need to go back, for your audiences understand, just stop me. But the response there were some were placed by the Dracos, some were placed by reptilian Draconians, others were placed by Satan. Sorry. I asked Michael, do newborns today have these codes in their DNA structures? And he said, thankfully, most do not. The other thing I know, which shared with me, is that in terms of implants, if an animal or a person was born after 2012, not just an infant, but since that year, I don't know about the codes, but in terms of implants, they won't have them. That's what I was. So that's part of what that great time in our history was about. And so back to the newborns. So if you have a newborn grandchild or you're a god aunt or something, Michael said, because they have chosen to enter in when the waves of ascension energies are higher and the codes can't be contained.
Okay, cool.
Which is quite nice,
Yeah.
And that's a little piece on the part of the promise of the world that lies ahead, if it's not in our world now, right? That's the promise of future generations. So when we talk about codes, the harmonic codes are the codes that are helpful, that relate to healing. And so the other,
how do you, because people are asking, how do you use the harmonic codes? Like, is it a number that you say over and over again? Is it a phrase that you say like 100 times a day? Like what is that?
Okay, I'm going to be very clear with everyone. That's an excellent question. And it's as Michael teaches us, you might be tempted to say them over and over again. And again, when we get to the package, we'll talk about the codes that are in there. I've got them separated just for understanding. In terms of viruses, I believe there's physical codes, emotional codes, spiritual extension codes. But that you can, well, it depends on how we're working with them too. For example, if we're going to share, let's say, a code today to everyone can, let's say, help purify ocean water.
Right.
Okay. Michael tells us you can say the code. You can, when we're doing outdoor work like that, he said you could step outside, kind of makes sense, right? Let the winds of Mother Nature take it. But these are beams of light that are highly charged from this various sources, as we mentioned earlier. And so the way that you use them varies a little, okay? And so you can say them, not over and over. We'll get to that in a second. If we're going, sticking with the example of helping the planet, let's say, you can say a code. Shouldn't say them. We'd probably present one code at a time. But you'd say the code. For example, I haven't memorized all the codes I've heard, of course. But for example, and I'll listen directly in just a second. But one code might be green, pink, CT77F. Like the letter F.
Right.
Okay. That's generally the structure of these codes that we're talking about, these light language codes. And the other thing I love about this kind of extension or expansion, to the work is that, people can become more of their own healer. He says, step into your, and that's by using, these, again, what simple, but don't be misled kind of codes. In some cases, if we're working personally for ourselves or something, he tells us you can write the code down. Okay? You can write it down. You could write it with your finger in your mind. In Mount Shasta, I wrote it in the dirt. That's how he asked me to do it, in the dirt there. But in any event, it's not one way or no way. It's not multiple ways. So in other words, if you say the codes, if you're listening to some of the codes we're going to be sharing, and if you're drawn to the packages where you can help yourself in a variety of ways, you do not go over and over and over and over and over the codes. I believe that text is in the sales page, but worthy of going over again, okay? Because they are highly charged, and if you don't feel or see anything, Michael said, it's not as though in many places, the books and the teachings, it's not as though anything can hurt you, but we don't want people to have, releasing, the yawning, as the prosperity release. But again, that was one code, and that a woman who knows energy, she held the star code bracelet in her hand less than 10 minutes. And I was with her, and she yawned for an hour.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the good side, positive, aspect of transforming. But so they can't harm us, but, it's not something you say and write every day. You don't have to give your attention to it every day. So you can say them, you can write them, and if you're drawn to it, you can wear them. That's part of what we're going to be talking about today too, because what I've created most recently are what we're calling star code creations, and they're accessories that you can wear, although the line will probably develop a bit, but you wear them. So for example, I think this is a manifesting code. I should look, but this is a necklace. We have a bracelet, we have earrings, we have dog tags for anxiety, cat tags, cellphone charms for all kinds of codes, self-love, joy, pain, viruses, things of this nature. So those are the ways you use them if you're drawn to do that. Of course, one isn't necessarily better than another, but you don't, the value of, I guess I would say, it was just a natural thought really to me to extend writing something on paper to something you wear. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, okay? But plenty of, people are sharing with us, that things did improve for them, and they were writing, they wrote the code, or they felt the energy go help the dolphins, when those were shared after reading the Book of Animals, or so on and so forth. So those are the means and the ways to work with the star code. And again, you would be well advised not to use a whole bunch at once. Okay, Michael tells us that, and I'm sharing that with everyone. It's tempting. If I can just go on to say a little bit more, it might be tempting if you're listening, or you know of someone that might benefit from these codes. If you have multiple things going on, depression, arthritis, viruses, lack of motivation, not a lot of joy. There's codes for each of these things, and it might feel as though you just want to use them all at once. And certainly there's many codes that are presented in the package where to try to help people through the various things that might be keeping them separate from something, limited in some way. But you would be intentional about them, right? You'd use one, you'd let it integrate, before using another. You can't, in this type of teaching, you can't give a model for everybody and say, okay, everybody, one code for a week. Okay, I mean, you just can't, because some people are used to working with energy, and again, they might be more accustomed to, and their vibration might be higher, allowing more than one code to integrate, because it's not all about releasing. It's about integrating. And so some of that has to do with where that person is in their journey, or let's just say their life, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes, the point I'd like to continue just for a second here, sometimes it might be necessary to use multiple codes. That's what Michael tells us, just like anything else. If a person might start, let's say you have arthritis and you're listening, for example, you might want to begin by using the arthritis package and code in the package. Give it some time to integrate. You know, just what is some time? To everybody, it's different. I would say maybe a week. That doesn't mean it's not going to keep integrating. Okay, but I don't mean some time doesn't mean like an hour. Okay.
Right.
So you give it some time to integrate, and then probably there's an emotional component to something. Maybe another person wants to start with the self-love code, but you know, that's where it's a little organic, I guess I'd say. Again, I would think a person knows themselves best.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yep.
And so there are many people that have worked with me that have abuse history. That's your case. There's an abuse code to help that. Again, there are codes to help people connect with angels. There's codes to help people connect with their infinity partner. In fact, if we're talking about connecting with angels and, you know, instead of, you know, automatic writing or something that's been taught and around for quite a long time, again, Michael is kind of nudging us, you know, into using, you know, codes that come from other dimensionals, because we're multidimensional people, and he wants to keep opening up that window of truth, you know, for us. So they are infinite in their purpose. One thing right before the call, to give everybody an idea of these codes. Viruses generally are stubborn if you've not worked with me before, and I was pleased to hear for this woman that she used well, I won't be too specific, but she had 2 viruses of a long and lingering and kind of debilitating nature, and she used a code for each of those 2 viruses over the last month, and she had her blood work done and feels a lot better, and there wasn't any sign of those viruses anymore. So, you know, I was thrilled to hear that for her. So again, like anything in the presentation of these codes, one code for one person might be enough. There's codes for more joy in your life. There's codes for financial prosperity. As I say, there's an infinite number. In other cases, a person or an animal might need, not just benefit, but they really might need, right, the use of additional codes. And awesome. in the greatest need, Michael suggests that people and animals still consider immersing themselves in a longer intergalactic session, and so that's how it's generally been presented.
Awesome, thank you. And so, you know, we are today talking about how to heal using the highly charged star codes. So I think we're on topic, because we're talking about how to use the codes and different types of codes. So I think we're good. And I wanted to talk, we're going to take some questions. Oops, in just a second. Hold on 1 second. I just did something to my computer. Hold on. Crap, I have no idea. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
I'm glad you're reading the comments for us.
Yeah.
Questions.
So we are going to take some questions, but I just wanted to see if there was something else on the list of things that we were going to talk about that if we missed anything. I think we talked about most of the stuff that's on there. Yeah, I think we talked about most of the stuff that's there generally and specifically, but we do have some questions from people. So do you want to take some questions now, Kelly?
Sure. Yes, I'm happy to do that. Just again, a reference here directly from Michael, which always seems a bit, you know, more right than me interpreting it, but that's my own thing I need to work through. But he goes over again, you know, how to work with the codes. And children, by the way, if there's someone, you know, young under the age of 12, there's different codes for them. So I want to be clear about this, because this is what I know, and I don't think it's in the sales package. If there were a young child under 12, there's a slightly different code, kind of like a softer, code, just like a smaller dose of medicine,
Right.
for a child. That doesn't mean you couldn't use it, but I'd ask, if you move to, the package, I'd ask you to let me know if you're intending them for someone that's under the age of 12, because I would listen and I'd soften it. That's what Michael is asked to do there. So,
okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, yes, in terms of the calls, Archangel Michael will be everyone's guide, and we thought we'd take more of global questions, I think, didn't we? So everyone could kind of benefit from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome. So if you would like to ask a question, we have lots of questions on the chat, which I'm going to get to now. Some were sent privately to me and some are there. And also you can raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question. So I know that Roberta has raised her hand. So maybe we'll go to Roberta first. Roberta, I'm just going to unmute you if you'd like. Hello? Roberta? You're unmuted. Trying to find you. There you are.
Hello.
Roberta? We can't hear you if you're talking. Maybe you need to unmute yourself. Okay, I'll let you come back to us, but we will be here, at least it's an hour and a half call at least. If we go longer, we go longer, but we can't hear you. So I'm going to put you back on mute and take another caller. Sorry. All right, so Linda, I'm going to unmute you. Okay, Linda, hello. Oops, hold on. Linda, can you unmute yourself? Because I can't unmute you.
Mute now.
Perfect.
Hi, Alara.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, loved one. Hi, Sally. I have a question.
Hi.
How are you, loved one?
Great, thanks.
I kind of have two questions. I had an entity that had pushed me while I was teaching, and I'm wondering about if that entity is still in my energy system. Also, with the codes, can we place the written code on a piece of paper and place water on top of it and energetically drink the water? And would that possibly also aid in our healing? Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you. I know there's techniques where people manifest, and I mean, I've seen them all through the years about the water thing, and I've been asked that before. Michael didn't say so. I don't want to keep people from something, but I don't think it's necessary. He didn't say to do it, so I think it's not necessary. Again, if it's, something that you love to do or whatever, but the simplicity of the nature of the thing is, if you have to do like one less thing, then so much the better. As far as, it's not unusual. Well, let me begin again on this, on the, I'm sorry that you were pushed, by the way, but what I started to say is, things go on, and that's partly why, when we get to the package itself, one of the things that you'll be reminded about is the importance of spiritual protection. That's part of my ascendancy. Well, it's a program, really. It's many types of multidimensional teaching from many different guides on many different topics. And so I'm presenting it there for a reason, and particularly that piece, so that these kinds of things don't occur, or we quell them down as much as possible. I'm going to ask Michael if that entity is still present. Michael, is the entity still present? Not at this time. He's saying no, not at this time. I don't think he means that they're coming back, but a lot of times, that's the way he responds, no, not at this time. So that doesn't mean you may not have attachments. I'm not here to, I'm just trying to teach is all. So I guess the question, it's what I'm trying to say to you is that maybe your fear, if something's continuing to happen and which prompted your question, then I would, say maybe there's some other type of interference. Not all interference is an entity, but I from what I heard from Michael, you're free and clear there. And was there one other aspect of the water entity? Was there something else, Laura?
No, that was it.
If there was, let us know. Okay.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you so much, love.
Thank you, Linda. Hold on. So Roberta has figured out how to unmute herself, so I'm going to unmute her. Okay, Roberta, can you unmute yourself, sweetie? There you go. Hello,
Hello,
Roberta. Can you unmute yourself again? Yep, perfect. And can you talk? If you're talking, we can't hear you. Oh, we can't hear you, sorry. Can you just type your question into the chat? That'd be great. I know you're on your phone, so it's kind of hard to type into the chat, but if you can, that'd be awesome. Okay, sorry. Or you can always email me afterwards and I can send it.
Maybe before too long, we ought to, tell the folks what codes are, I could maybe just bring it up and.
Well, she's asking for a code for dog, please.
Well,
anything specific for the dog?
Oh, all right. Be nice if I had the dog's name. I like a name. Michael doesn't need a name, but maybe she has 3 dogs.
So it's a German Shepherd. It's a hip problem, but if you can type in the name Roberta, that'd be awesome as well.
Okay, thanks. So Michael, for her dog's hip.
One dog, neighbor's dog? Yes.
Okay, thank you. The neighbor's dog for the hip. Okay, I'm hearing the code for you, and again what would the code be? Okay, it's 976 T like Tina, P like Paul, J like Jewel, 9. Now here's something I would like to touch on because in the creation of the jewelry and the codes and etc., because these are energy charged statements, ideally Roberta, I believe was her name, ideally Roberta, if she's not the owner of the animal, she informs the animal caregiver, or whatever word you'd like to use there. So you're not just putting out these highly charged codes and numbers to people or animals you're trying to help.
Yeah,
it's just ethical, right?
Yeah.
So Roberta, it's my hope that if that's the way you're going about it with a genuine heart to helping another animal, that's wonderful. But that those owners need to be made aware of what's going on, right? Again, because the animal can be releasing. It's just the way to do it. Okay, so that would be my desire.
So for those of you who are asking for a code, please listen and write it down, because obviously I didn't get it all. So don't count on me to know the code, okay?
Well, also, let's do this. I'd like to share with everybody the codes that are in the package, and maybe that'll help you all with what you're thinking about. So let me just go over some of them, okay? Because that's where they're going to be presented. So codes for physical issues are in package A. There's 3 packages that are being presented. Package A, maybe I could just go through it all in order now. Does that sound all right? So package A has over 4 hours of teachings from my Ascendancy membership. So, you know, it's like 4 months of that program, where different guides, high-level guides come through. The first teaching is how to recognize entities, attachments, and implants, what reptilians and lizards are, be given spiritual protective tools by Archangel Michael, understand how gamma rays are affecting our planet, and more. That's item 1. Item 2, another hour where Michael talks about what courage has to do with the awakening, okay, and how to empower ourselves with that. And so you could read through the descriptions there. Item 3, your galactic lineage. Many more people are awakening to wanting to know those types of things now. And the package also has some live time with me. So in addition to this audio, we explain, or I channel the information about your galactic lineage, or what we call your star home, what your star mission might be. If you have a star mission, if you're a star seed, and you could always use that live time, if you're drawn to it, to confirm with Michael and myself or the council where your home is, or really for any purpose. But item 4 is another guide, King Theo of Sirius, and what the pyramids, how they were originated, what their purpose is. That's item 4. Item 5 is Michael's wonderful book I mentioned about 2012 and beyond, and that is sent as a PDF, by the way. Also in package A, this is where we introduce the different types of star codes. And so I'll just read through some of them. Again, there's many of them. And again, if you're drawn to working with them for yourself, particularly, that would be my preference. If you know of other people that have conditions, I would prefer that they buy their own package, or you gift it to them or something, so that the teaching of how to use them comes, that they do it themselves, that you're not necessarily the giver of someone else's code. And it has more to do with awareness and someone feeling as though they can empower themselves. So anyway, physical issues, star codes. Among the codes are arthritis, other pain, eyesight, hearing, asthma. By the way, I think there's a testimonial. If it's not on the sales page, I'll just share it with everyone. Someone, I'm happy to say, use the code for asthma.
It's the video that's there.
Oh, video? Okay,
yes,
thanks.
The video testimonials there for that.
Y'all can click on that. Rashes, digestive conditions, allergies, general, and fatigue. Emotional star codes for emotional issues, and they include depression, Alzheimer's, grief, another testimony about using the grief code, anger, eating disorders, from abandonment, anxiety, social phobias, including panic disorder, compulsive, obsessive compulsive, substance abuse, insomnia, hidden learning disabilities, weight loss, and motivation. Okay, so lots of them. Item 8, healing codes for viruses. The viruses that I've elected to present at this time are chickenpox, shingles, hepatitis, herpes, Lyme disease, HIV, influenza. Item 9, spiritual codes for spiritual expansion, connecting with Jupiter, the great central sun, Saturn, Nebulon, God creator. Okay. Also, there's codes for longevity, manifesting, and deeper meditative states. So again, item 10 of package A includes 15-minute private channeled session from anywhere in the world. And that can either support your use of the codes or doesn't have to do anything with the codes. It's certainly your choice on how you wanted to spend that time together. Bonus 1 is a gratitude special journey with me to Mount Shasta, where I first, obtain those codes from Archangel Michael. It's a $65 discount coupon. We're going this June. I've led many retreats there over the years. It's a sacred portal if you've not been there before. And we will have a shamanic guide that works up with us, guides us to some places that, and brings that type of wisdom, more so than the kinds of things that I might bring through and for everyone. I think this will be my 5th year there after Archangel Michael asked me to work there. So again, there's information here to send me an email if you'd like the complete itinerary and the details. We can't list, all of that in the sales page, but it's early June, mid-June. So there's not a whole lot of time. If it's something or a place that calls to you, I welcome you to, examine that and ask me anything you like. Just sign up. Second bonus I'm very excited to talk about. I've been guided to go to Assisi in Mount St. Angelo, Italy, and spend the Feast of St. Michael, which is September 29th, in Mount St. Angelo. And as a bonus and encouragement to have you join our group, which is forming, there's a $100 discount coupon. We will have a guide while we're over there. I also have assistants that help me when I go on these journeys. I like to keep the group smaller and intimate rather than over a large, some teachers have large numbers of people, and I find that, my groups tend to like it better. And I feel as though you tend to get a bit more out of it when the groups are not so huge. And but in any event, the dates of the trip are listed here, September 22nd through the 27th. It's also early bird registration time, so you can kind of double up with taking advantage of that. When we're in Assisi, again, there's many more details about the trip. But when we're in Assisi, we'll be visiting, channeling St. Francis, of course. Many years ago, I was guided to study for about 25 years ago. The angels came in and asked me to study St. Francis, so I did that and a little bit, And Mother Mary, we're going to work along the lines of Michael. These points are sacred points along the line, commonly referred to as the Apollo line, if you want to read more about the Apollo line. Glastonbury is also another retreat, and there's another line of Michael and Mary that runs largely through Great Britain. This other line that we're going to be visiting goes through France, all the way through Italy, it goes through Greece, and ends in Mecca. And so in, I guess, the ways of where Michael asks us to do work, again, these are not travel vacations. It doesn't mean you won't be, having those experiences, of enriching cultures, but they're personal opportunities for growth. They're opportunities for growth within a group, and they're opportunities to do healing work. And so I download a lot of the guidance that Michael and Mary, Christ, any of the masters, the light beings ask us to do in these areas, because as the council said at the top of our call, they're still, even without them, saying that, we know until we live in a world where there's no judgment, no racism, no social structure, no this, no that, no bias, really, nothing but love. There's remnants in the soil, by the way, by the in places in the world where things have gone on, and there's, if you want to work as an alchemist, work with energy. Again, these are the directions that I've been led to bring people into. So again, you can send me an email if you'd like additional information and take advantage of that. I'd love to have you come along. So we'll have an Italian-speaking guide at a beautiful retreat center. We'll have some time for a private meditation as well. And when we get to Mount St. Angelo. I've not been there before, so I'm quite excited. You know, there's a first time for everything, and we have a, you know, full schedule itinerary of events, and, you know, things are worked out, and enrollment's open, and souls are enrolling. So that's package A. It has a total value of $1,095, and we're offering it for $99. Okay, so that's all the ascendancy, the bonuses, all the codes that I, you know, feel appropriate to use. That's not to say that if there isn't one or two items that are on there, I can listen for them in your private session. Again, that private time with me can be used to connect with animals on the other side, have Michael guide you on something, Mary, any guide really that you need, or validation that you need. So that's all arranged and scheduled. If you've never worked with me before and you're wondering if you're drawn to what, you know, we have to offer, that scheduling is done in an email, either by myself or my assistant, and then things just kind of go on from there. I guess what I say, I don't know that it's included in here, but there's always a recording, you know, in a live session, so you can refer back to it if it's helpful to you and re-listen to what was shared with you.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, so package B. So let's talk about some of the products that you have, including the bracelet for package B, and, you know, and also, like, people are asking, can we, you know, they would love to experience a code. Is there any code that you can share with?
Yes. Let's do that now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's no particular ceremony. You don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to have your feet on the floor. You know, I'd like to ask Michael what code he thinks might be beneficial for our group collective. Okay. And I'll do that now. Michael, you're hearing this. What code would that be, please? And what is it, please? Oh, well, okay. He's saying, how about a code for more humor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. More humor, he's saying. All right. And what would that code be, my friend? Okay, this is what Michael's saying. Blue, blue, blue. Green. White. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Is that it? That's it. That's it.
All right, who got it? Write it in the chat.
Yeah. Who's gonna be our scribe for us?
All I got was blue, 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 green. I know there's a yellow and there's a white, but I missed something.
All right, and then because Michael's quite clear that we don't leave the animals behind when we talk about ascension. We don't leave them behind any more than we leave children behind. Okay, because so many of them entered in higher, and and young adults, let's say young adults,
Mm-hmm.
they need really codes, or, you know, that are high enough to reach them. It's a matter of energetics, right? So Michael, for our group also, can you give us a group code? What animal do you feel might need some of the greatest healing, or a place on our planet, or something of that nature for everyone? Well, where would that be, please? Okay, this is interesting to me because many times when he keeps saying Nova Scotia, I've heard this many times lately about Nova Scotia. Do you want to say why, please? Oh, there's underground tunnels there. I know, Michael, but that wasn't really what I asked you. But I asked animals or places in the world. So let's follow through with the code for Nova Scotia, because it's out there now. So what would that code be? You know, again, if you don't know these things, you might want to read the 2012 book that's in the package. You know, there's tunnels above, there's tunnels below, there's tunnels with light beings, there's tunnels with nefarious beings in there, there's tunnels under the ocean. And So apparently there's tunnels near Nova Scotia. And what would the code be, and what would people be using directly? Okay, he said blocking off access from those that don't belong.
Oh.
Okay, and what code would that be, please? Okay, these are going to be 2 double-digit numbers. 77. I should do this myself. I'm sorry. 77 space TT blue 900. Is that the last code? 00. Okay, I typed it in for everybody. Okay, and Michael, then the animals, places in the world. Can you give us some global codes so people can exercise their full authority as a multidimensional, powerful being and help the animals? Okay, he'd like us to think about sending a code to cougars. Actually, Canadian cougars, he's saying. Or and that code would be what, please? 7 5 F I D P. All right, so if you're listening, it's the number 7 5, the letters F I D P like Paul, and the color blue. Let's try one more. Michael, about the ocean, the land, a city, and a region that's war-torn or something, please. He said Holland. We can get to that too, I think. Holland. What's the code there? What's it for, please? Oh, this is a code to help truth. So, okay, that's what he's saying. So, not all codes, obviously by nature, are meant to eliminate something like pain or anger. Some of them are, for the expansion element. And so he said truth. So let me just listen to that for everyone, and that would be Holland, truth. Oh, brown. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me type it all in one. Brown, gray, black, gray, brown. So that one was all colors. Okay. Maybe one code about South Africa, and then maybe we'll finish the package and come back and see where we are. Is that okay? Whales, Michael, what about the whales? And to help their numbers, pollution, well, if we did a code for ocean pollution, that might help more marine life than just whales. So if that's all right with everyone, I'll go to that. Okay. So, water pollution would be what, please? He's just commenting, that things are being destroyed. So we probably know about that. So what would a code be to help? Harmonic code. Remember that word harmonic would be what then, please? Help all the marine life. S K U green. 1 2 4 7. All right, so it's in the chat box there for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My baby's getting restless.
Hi. So let's see. Maybe we could finish the package, and then there's a lot of. I'm happy to see everybody's interested. Oh, I think I just lost myself. Package B is just, it's only one item, and I don't know that this has ever been done before, but maybe it has. But anyway, there's a limited number of star code bracelets, and I wanted to show everybody those.
Mhm.
I just can. Laura, can you read the? Do you have the offer in front of you?
Yep.
Can you? While I'm showing the bracelet, can you just tell everybody? I forgot the quantity. Is all.
The
That was-
$35?
But how many? Oh, 15.
15, yeah.
Thank you, 15.
Mhm.
And anyway, I just thought I'd show everybody real quick and then package.
Okay. Hold on, let me just
Package.
make sure that you're highlighted so that people can see you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So anyway, star code accessories, where there are many other accessories, as I mentioned, besides what we're offering in the package at a discount, but they come in a beautiful box like this, and they come with instruction from Michael about how to use them, what they are, kind of how to use them. And it's an adjustable bracelet. I'm wearing one, and again, they're coded for prosperity. So the pictures, on the website for financial prosperity. So there's 15 of those.
Show your bracelet on your wrist too, Kelly. There.
Well, can you see?
Yeah.
So the code is on the front. This one I happen to be wearing is the same. If you're interested or curious about this, I always wear mine just cause. But he didn't tell me to, and you don't have to either. It's not realistic, It's a piece of jewelry. It's a highly charged piece of jewelry with a special code on it. But nevertheless, if you're not, if you're interested but not always going to wear it, then maybe put the bracelet, in this case, it's a bracelet, by your bedside table or something that's still in your energy field so you can be benefiting from it. Okay, it's not a have-to thing either. Sometimes people get benefits right away with those again, and I cannot advance, I cannot tell people that are listening, how quickly that may be done. I can just state what's been shared with me already. And one woman had a all expense trip, a cruise actually, come about after a week of using the prosperity earrings, I believe, but the object itself doesn't matter. And that came out of the blue, so she was pretty excited to think that perhaps the code had an influence on that. So she's going on a cruise, doesn't have to pay for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's, what we're doing. And, of course, I'd need shipping information and everything, but we're ready to ship a limited number of those items for the first 15 people.
So it's $35. Oh, so without shipping, so that the shipping is extra, right?
Right. So I'd make, if you're interested or you think you might be, together we'll figure out if you're in Australia or somewhere outside of North America. We'll share with you what the shipping cost is to get your star-coded bracelet there. Within the USA, it's $3 if it's $3 to $4, something like that. So minimal on that.
Mm-hmm.
And just you care for them like any other piece of jewelry, and then let me know what you learn and hear from them. The testimonials are coming in just like they did when Star Healing Intergalactic Energy was introduced. When Michael said, "Here's what I'd like you to do and use them." There wasn't anything to draw from, except faith, really.
Mm-hmm.
And again, so I think the beauty of these codes is that you can use them yourself. That's what they're intended for.
Yeah.
So that and if there's something of beauty that appeals to you, you can use it that way. So we're working on more objects for children. So again, if just as a word of, I don't know if it's even caution, but if you're interested in some of the one of the 15 bracelets, you're intending it for a child, it might need a softer code, or I could bless it. You know, everything that goes out has a blessing from Michael and myself before we ship them out. So just maybe make it known if it's for a young, it's not really styled appropriately for anyone too terribly young. So just, we just know that children's codes are a little softer. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Thank you.
my pleasure.
Yeah. So if you're within the US, it includes shipping. If you're outside the US, then Kelly will let you know how much the shipping is. Okay. If it's, you know, how much more it is or whatever. So not to worry. All right. So, and package C is the Star Galactic Healing Practitioner Program, right?
Yes. Very much that's still a part of my mission, and I wanted to extend another savings to people that are healers or have healing experience. To learn the Star Healing Intergalactic System and join the practitioners around the world that have already been trained. So there's a significant savings there. There's many modules. You can learn it at your own pace. You can learn it from the comfort of your home or anywhere you happen to be. It also includes some live time with me, in addition to the models that are, you know, carefully constructed in the training materials. It is for the training that you'd be receiving if you're interested in. The offer is for children and adults, level 1. That's what you'd be learning. And again, I don't have it pulled up for the offering there. Maybe you could help me out on that. But
So it's all online, and it's $449. If you do require 2 payment plans, just let us know and we can give you the codes for that. Regularly it's $800. And
just a little bit more about that system. Again, if you're not a healer and you know of someone that might be ready to be in the, you know, step into those shoes and of a mind to gift it to them. The guidebooks are very detailed. It's not a system for beginners. Some healers I've trained with lots of experience, again, call it the most powerful system they've ever had, more powerful than the reconnection, theta healing, many others. The advantage also, I feel, that the training and the system has over some that are, you know, popping up more recently is that there's 10 years of a body of documented work there, documented results. Not 6 months or something or another. And even though we might call it and refer to it as a Palladian system, that's the source energy from the great central sun. There are many dozens of light races that are present. So to think that only Palladians are there is not true, you know. What the star system, what learning the intergalactic system, you know, presents is they work with star codes. They're not, you know, they will work with sacred geometry, or you know, if you enrolled, you would be working with that. The light beings work with light language and tone. Doesn't mean you have to hear it, you have to see it, you don't. At level 1, you do not have to hear or see or know anything. You just follow, you know, the instruction material that I downloaded from Michael, and you follow what I ask you, you know, to do. Many healers don't have those clairs opened up yet, but just like when a person or an animal receives a healing and you're dusting people off and you're elevating them higher, you know, many times all that, and you get rid of the implants and the codes and some of the more difficult or intricate things, and you restructure the DNA things that the star codes don't do, greater knowing usually comes about. So it shouldn't be a limiting factor in any stretch of the imagination. And also, just another word on the program training. If you're of a mind to go really deep, and, you know, there's multiple ways to extend your learning in time if it moved a student. That would be learning levels 2, learning level 3, learning how to assist me in workshops, learning the system for animals. So these platforms of learning have been, you know, long-standing. Again, they weren't developed yesterday. And there's some, value, I think, in having taught so many healers over the years. It's called experience.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So those 3 packages are available. And like I said, package C is available in two payment plans. Just let us know if you require that. And Caroline was asking, the question that she had for Michael was, does she need this certification, this program, the Intergalactic Star Healing?
Oh, what is her name?
Caroline.
Okay, thank you. I can ask him. I mean, I'm happy to ask him. I think maybe, what was I going to say? A lot of times, well, here's several things I wanted to share before I have what Michael wants to say.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, maybe we know, and you might know more when you understand more about the training. It's sort of like, oh, I want to go to France, but I've never been to France. Educate me about France. So part of that education is, unlike some healing systems, I understand, you don't get detailed training guidebooks to help you keep learning or refresh you or something. You do here. That's one model of difference, I'd say. And also, it's a current form of healing. It's not something that's outdated. In fact, Michael said it got even stronger in the last few years. So an example of that is that, what is one of the things that, is routinely done very kind of easily? And that is, you become the human Stargate. You do. That's one thing you do. You'd become the human Stargate and allow that person to go through, experience Stargate energies or Stargate portals. You'd become more familiar with some sound, healing, tone, and objects. So it's, I think it's a very interesting, creative form of healing. I believe we have some comments from other healers that have been trained there. But ultimately, it's your decision. But let me see what Michael might weigh in for you. And that would be what, please? He's starting to say, no longer is there time to reflect upon the past. He's saying to her.
Caroline, yeah.
Caroline. And he's saying, we're waiting for you with open arms whenever your heart is open and ready. He's just saying something like, I hope this makes some sense to you. He's just saying, we welcome you with open arms. You will know when you are ready. And the point being, the readiness to this matter is that Michael's prerequisites are previous healing experience, knowledge and reading of 2012 and beyond, which is in package A, although I could make it available to someone. I think it's in the model, online model. So you get that too.
Yeah.
You can't teach what you don't know, and you can't, as he terms it, run a marathon or go, into a very high level 5th to 12th dimensional healing system with not having some experience. So if you're interested or know someone and you're not certain, we can just shoot me an email, or we could even talk about it in a arranged conversation like this and go into greater detail.
Awesome, thank you. And so these packages are all available. The special offer is available at alara.at/show/Kelly4. That's alara.at/show/Kelly4. So let me see what Marianne is asking, where can we purchase other jewelry like necklaces and earrings?
Marianne, that could be done either through my Facebook Star Code page. It's called Star Code Creations. Or also you could find that on my website, although I don't know I'm supposed to talk too much about that, but
that's fine.
There are other objects. The bracelet was the first piece I created, and
you know me, I don't care. It's like, go ahead, share, talk about it.
Well, so those would, you know, they're both linked together. By that, I mean the website and inventory to the Facebook shopping cart. I haven't ventured out into Etsy or anything like that yet. We'll see how that goes in time. But right now I'm, you know, getting the items that I want. I'm not having too many. Well, let's see. Can I share the others real quick?
Yes.
What they,
I always find it fun, you know, to share other stuff that's going on, because it's not just about, you know, sales on the show. It's about, you know, what else does Kelly have to offer, or other healers and guests that may be of value to you, or that may be of interest to you, or that may serve you in some way.
Well, that's very kind. Okay, thank you. So here's one style of our necklace, and the code goes on the back. So if, let's say you've, you know, have abuse history, and you don't want everybody, not, you know, if someone says, oh, you know, what's the code for, you know, so it would be, on this style, it would be etched into the back. The earrings are for pierced earrings. They're hypoallergenic. I don't know if you can see this in the bag or not. But
just tilt it a little bit.
That's what they look like.
Yeah, just tilt. Yeah, perfect. That's good.
There's a piece of silver, copper. They're all handmade. They all go out blessed before they're sent. We have Cellphone Charm, if I had my cell phone handy. But again, you can code it with different items. This particular charm fits iPhones up to a 9. So if you have a 9 or 10, they've changed the model and it wouldn't be appropriate for you. We have dog tags, cat tags to ease anxiety. So here's an example. There's also a little dog bone. We have another, this is a purple beaded bracelet, and the beads I think are beautiful. Some of them are from Czechoslovakia. Again, I think they're, well, I hope they're beautifully appealing to people, but again, the power comes from the codes. So here's an aqua colored bracelet. For men, I'm working on a paperweight. Let me see if I can find that. Please be here. It's for prosperity. It's handmade, custom made. I will be, you know, working on a couple of items for children that are appropriate to that. Today, just real quick, I was at the store, and someone remarked about how pretty she thought here's the other style of necklace. Now, the value of this necklace, if I can say that, is this one allows for multiple codes. Okay, so if you need multiple codes, you just could purchase the code piece. And you add that on. Anyway, I'll probably work on a little, it's called an ear clip or something. So if you don't have pierced earrings or something, the girls, you know, I don't know, she's pretty young. Anyway, you know, I'm happy to say people are responding to them, and you know, the reward of helping people and doing something creative at the same time is really great. You know, I'm very grateful. So
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So Zara, I think you've unmuted yourself. Did you have a question?
Yes.
Zara?
Hello. It looks very dark wherever she.
It's okay. I'll mute you. No worries. Okay, cool. So Terry says, I have necklace and bracelet, and both are beautiful, and I keep them close. Awesome.
Oh, thank you for listening, and thank you for being moved. Again, there's a name for the line. They're called Starcode Creations.
Starcode Creations. Awesome. So, you know, Linda's purchased package A. Caroline, she's also purchased package A, and I think she purchased package B as well. And there's lots of other people who have purchased package B. I look quickly. There's package A and B that people are purchasing. So awesome. Let me see. I'm just seeing if there's any other questions. Randy says, hello? Yeah, Randy says, I'm helping a homeless friend today on very short notice with my couch and unconditional love. Please, can you consider a code or intention for when we put our neck out to help others?
Michael, what code would that be, and what is it, please? He'd like a restoration code. So as you give to others, restore yourself. Okay. And Randy, the code would be for everyone. I'll type it in here again.
Thank you. I'm so bad at it.
Would be well, I used to do automatic writing. That's how I did my sessions many years ago, you know. And and then the channeling got so fast, whatever I was typing was just a mess. So, but typing in high school has come in handy.
Yes, that's true.
What is that, please, for restoration? Oh, beige. Beige. Sorry, beige. 9. Q. Okay, so for restoration, if you're giving out a lot and you to restore yourself, beige 99QQQ. Okay, and again,
Awesome.
you don't have to just if you write it in your mind with your finger, you're writing it in your energy field. Okay, so you don't have to keep writing. Let's say if you choose to use the code that way, you don't have to keep writing it in every day. Michael said nothing of the like. In fact, not too long ago when I asked him how long for most people, you know, will the code, you know, sort of stay in the field, he said something like 10 years or something really. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So again, it's these codes, I hope, like anything in the life or spiritual teaching, they're not to be used as crutches. They're really tools to help you become more, just become, I guess I'd say. And if you feel you have to keep using them every day or something, then that sort of probably takes away a little bit of the power, you know. So that's what I would, you know, say about that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And that's something I need for sure. So I'm so glad you asked that question, Randy. Thank you so much. So Linda has a question. She's raised her hand. So I'm going to unmute you, Linda. Go ahead. Linda?
Thank you, Alara.
Awesome.
Can you hear me, love?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sally, could you please help with, I have a foot drop and paralysis, and I don't see in any of the star codes that would alleviate some paralysis in my leg that's caused many, many falls. So I'm just wondering if you could provide one, please, if Michael could. Thank you so much, love.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, dear. If the codes of self-love and joy are not in there or listed, they should be, and I'll send them over. Because why? You know, there are all things flow from love of self. You know, and so anyway, that's FYI to, you know, Alara and I. Michael, for this woman, is there a different code for paralysis of? What would that be, please? Okay. Yeah. He's kind of indicating that you might benefit from some of the emotional codes, because Mike, and I'll share one with you, and you can see if that's, you know, enough for you in a way, dear. Michael said there were two things that he wanted to help you with, and one was fear, and one was a bit of loneliness. So, what code would it be for her, please? Oh, and also tenderness. So he's kind of making a custom code for you, okay? And again, what I would say is, if you don't see a code listed, there's 15 minutes of time put in there just for exactly this type of thing, you know? So you could always use that time to ask Michael, you know, for the code that you may not see in there, if that's the case. Here's the thing, if I may too, there are many, well, you're not, just like star healing intergalactic energy, I am not going to listen, nor will it be necessary to listen to like 6,000 codes. You know, I have a bruised fingernail or easy you know, it's not as though those things don't matter, but there's some bigger concepts, you know, energetically, that by nature can help the other, if that's being clear to people. So I hope, if not, let me know. But let me listen to the code for her, please. Your custom code would be what, please? 6 F 9 Y space 7 8 9, excuse me, 9 1. Is that all? There's really no other way to get that out quicker than to listen. The other thing we didn't really talk about, I don't know if we have time or don't, but there are codes to connect with angels, guides, to help attract your infinity partner, connector, and all of that. Maybe just, if we do, maybe just for fun, I could share one code, which I don't remember, but to connect with a particular archangel. Would that be all right? Do we have time for that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know we've gone long.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Okay, let me just, to make a point really, in that,
Yep.
that these codes are the embodiment of, like, you know, many outer things, not just, even if you're in great health, we hope you are, and your great emotional health, you know, but you're wanting to open a channel that, you know, may not be there, or call on a guide in a newer way, more current, highly evolved way. That's why I'm going to go to this. Okay. So, all right. How about this? To help you connect with spirit guides, the harmonic codes would be, and again, I'll type this on here, and okay, to help you connect with spirit guides. Again, we're just kind of laying in a little bit of teaching. Again, there's lots to be said about all these things. Maybe we'll talk about this again another time, but the codes are 5A. That's one code. That's the second code. That's the third code, in that order, okay?
Mm-hmm.
These codes vibrate across planes of light and land at the feet of your spirit guides. That's what Michael says. Oh, whoops, there's one more that goes in that series. Okay, it ends with the 7. Just as he says, to some degree, some will argue that this is not possible. However, God, mind, creator is you. It is every one of you. What I'm hoping to do is to open up the creative channels that you have yourself by extending the use of these healing codes. You may find it helpful to keep a diary or journal of your efforts, tracking progress, to reflect upon it later might be a useful tool. Makes sense? The codes just given will be best reserved for the spirit guides in your inner ring. Okay, there's more to be said about that topic, maybe another time. Okay,
Yeah.
but
We have lots of guides.
Okay, but those are, that would be, if you know what we're talking about, or just know that that's inner ring spirit guides, okay?
Yeah. So that 6F9Y, that was for Linda, for her paralysis related stuff. The one for the spirit guides is the 4 codes that start with the 88888. Okay.
Right, and it, you know, obviously it goes without saying that if you, or if you're thinking about, you know, gifting a package to your sister or somebody, as you know happens sometimes, don't use codes that are not applicable. You know, just, you know.
Yeah, don't just use it because it's there.
Yeah.
You know, right. Yeah, and there is a description or instructions on how to use the codes in the package. So when right. So there was a question here earlier. Nikki was wanting to know the code for more humor that we did earlier. The blue, blue, green, white, yellow, yellow, yellow. She said, I say that every day, or I would visualize a color. Can you just talk a little bit?
Just to go over that again, you know, it does not need to be a daily thing. Michael, well, I can answer for you directly because there's no way one model is going to work for everybody. But in any case, in all of these codes, Michael's guidance never was you go over and over and over again. The codes can stay with your energy body. At the same time, if you know your own life is far from anything humorous, and you find, and you're tanked down on the other side of life experience, then you might feel better. And it's not a need to, but you might feel better, having a tool that you write again a week later. But again, you want to space it out. Okay. Again, it's like huge amount of sunlight coming to you. And if you've been in a dark cave, I don't know that you have, but to make a point, and you come out of the cave and you're, looking all around, it's too much. So you really do not, and I'll state this again, because you do not want to use multiple codes in one day if you have multiple things. You have arthritis, you want to know how to meditate deeper or more easily. You want more joy, you want more financial prosperity. We're not saying that these things are not available to you. I mean, I've even designed something where you could wear multiple codes, but you do it with mindfulness, as Michael says, right? You don't do it with hurry. You allow the energies to integrate, and you, in some cases, there might be a releasing, so that, just to cover that off again. Okay, so my particular response from Michael to her would be, now I've forgotten the question.
She was asking if she should use it every day or visualize the color.
No. In fact, I don't really want to channel a specific answer. Not that what I've told you is improper, because it's not for everyone, of course. It's, just kind of relax about them,
Well, I was going to say also, like, if you're in a good mood, you're feeling happy and joyful and you're laughing, you don't need to use the code. But
right.
if you're suddenly feeling really depressed or sad or, stuck, then use the code. But that doesn't mean all day long, just tune into the code and see how that feels.
Well, another thing too is, if you're not drawn to the jewelry, let's say, or the accessory line, maybe put the paper down once and lay it by your bedside table and forget about it.
Yeah.
Just forget about it. If most cases or whatever, your field is going to be large enough to touch something that's where you're sleeping,
Yeah.
And then just allow that to integrate, and don't even think about it. Don't, really.
If you're focusing on a code all the time, you're coming from a place of fear and lack and scarcity and not having it.
Right. And that's not the point of all of this.
Yeah.
Right. And in any teaching, it's not, And in fact, it would be my hope and desire that when and if people are drawn to have private sessions, whether it's in this package or with me on their own or whatever, that, in all the teachings, not just channeling sessions, but in the work of removing the codes, and it's to empower you. It's not to disempower you. We've already, as a race, that's already happened, right? And maybe we still do that ourselves every day. But the angelic realm, the master realm, the intergalactic realm, they all, is the messenger for all of them. Mother Earth, the elementals. It's to empower you.
Exactly. But what if somebody is in a place of fear, uncertainty because of lack of money or work or job or career, so it's like, so specifically if someone's looking for a code for work or job or career.
I would use a prosperity code. Yeah. There's also manifesting, ease of manifesting, maybe self-love. There's some core codes that can be very helpful. And again, if the code is written, or you have an object and it's in your home space, like any object, a piece of paper and a code is an object, it's going to emit, right? Just like anything negative emits, right? So by us asking you or teaching everyone to, think about having the code either on them or write it in while you're at home, as opposed to walking down the street and, oh yeah, I'm going to use the code, right? You might as well think about it in terms of also having the potential to elevate the space you're living in. Okay. I've had a woman that was drawn to one of the codes said she put the code in her purse. Well, again, there's no right or wrong, but my counsel to her was to consider, again, either writing it down or consider an object or write it in her field, in her home, because her purse could be so dense. Not only that, but the purse could be the reason we came up with this, or I decided to create this Cellphone Charm, is because most of the time they're in our field, right? That's one reason.
Mm-hmm.
Your purse is not always in your field. And not only that, but if your purse, again, has money in there that's from passed around, or your fear of money, or whoever had it in front of you, or who knows what you have in there, could be a live frog is in your purse, it's going to have that code, right? Is going to have to, like a salmon swimming upstream, to like get out there. So it just, if you use a little bit of, if you could see the code, just imagine that the code is, you can't see the wind, right? But we know it's there. So again, in deference, to that type of thing, I understand about keeping it near you, but again, you don't want to overthink it, and if you're going to use the code written on a piece of paper, again, you've written in your own field, that's a guidance Michael told us to use. Again, if you want to work with animals collectively, you want to work with soil erosion, you want to work with pollution, world hunger, whatever has to do with the nature world, restoring fairies, there's codes for that. Okay, that's why these codes can help us become more of our full selves for others. You'd be best served using those outside.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, thank you. So yeah. I know we've shared quite a few codes already on the call, not just the humor, but the restoration as well, and some other ones. I don't even remember now. I would have to go back and listen too. But is there one other code that Michael can give us for, because people are asking for the code for abundance, prosperity, or, that kind of thing. Is there anything that Michael could help us with?
Well, the codes, again, for prosperity are in the package. I think maybe I'll pick one that isn't in there. What would Michael, let Michael decide. One more. Michael, code. Oh, okay. He's offering up forgiveness.
Nice. Yeah.
So even though we're kind of, well, it's sort of like this, like playing music. We can play a song or learn a couple songs and create great beauty and great change, transformation. We don't necessarily need to, I don't want to give the impression that we need to know every note in the musical scale to make change, right? Yeah. For some people, self-love code will be enough, right?
Yeah.
So in any event, just take some time thinking about these codes, but because everything does have infinite potential, forgiveness is what I'm hearing.
All right. That's a good one.
And the code for that would be,
okay, folks, start writing.
That's what it is there. All those ones is forgiveness. 7 ones. Forgiveness.
Hit enter.
I'd like to do one more if I can, because he's pushing it through me, and this is for cruelty to animals.
Okay. You still have to press enter on the previous one.
Oh, I didn't send it?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, here we go. to ease cruelty to animals. Oh, I know it. He's saying like for medical testing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that would be what, please? Sometimes codes are longer than others, obviously. Okay. Yellow, orange, red, 9, Y, 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 W, Y. And, you know, the way this really goes with infinite teachers is, you know, it's like those links, you know, you can, to anything, you can get a little bitty link, you know, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
You can do the same for these too, but, you know, just FYI.
Self-love is in the package, but so the forgiveness code and the so the forgiveness code is 7 1s, 11111.
Whatever I typed there.
Yeah, it didn't come through. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's nothing there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hit enter.
It says privately, so somehow
you sent it to somebody.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me.
Just
Can I? I apologize.
that's okay.
Where do I send to everybody? Because I'm just responding to Julie.
Yeah, so just if you scroll upwards, then you'll see everyone.
Sorry, folks. Just give me a second here. We usually use free conference call when I.
Or Julie, if you can type it into everyone, that'd be great.
I'll just restate it again. You'll have it on the replay, okay? Forgiveness is 7 1. Do you have it now? Okay,
yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Okay, medical testing, especially cruelty to animals. So maybe some other time we'll do another show on this. But they're well, again, the reason I like them, or Michael asked me to put some more voice behind them, is because in a way they're simple. You don't have to know sacred geometry, draw it, see it, whatever case may be, or something. And so it'd be wonderful to hear from folks to see if you're using some of these codes, how they show up in your life or the lives of others.
Mm-hmm. Did somebody get the animal medical testing one? Did anybody write that down? You can always go back and listen to the replay. Yellow, 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 V yellow?
Cruelty to animals for medical testing is yellow, orange, red.
Oh.
The number 9. The letter Y, 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 W, Y.
Yellow, orange, red, 9, Y, 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 W, Y. I mean, no, yeah, okay. Yellow, orange, red. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I'm so bad at that. Yay. So it's there. And, you can always go back and listen to it on the replay or watch it on the replay and see it again. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Wow. I know we've like 2 hours. We've been here for 2 hours. I can't believe my puppy's being so calm. Anything else you wanted to share?
Kelly? Maybe let's see if Michael or the council have closure. Anything else to add, please, at this time? Well, it feels like Michael, he's saying, kind of a summary, he's saying, be kind to yourselves. Share your heart with others. Share this knowledge with souls you trust. And I guess he means this teaching. Share this knowledge with souls you trust.
Mhm.
Is there more? Remember how much you're loved to the glorious kingdoms across all the kingdoms. He's just saying, we welcome you to be of service until we meet again, your friend, Michael.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, this was awesome. This was, we did so much, talked about so much, so many different codes, but not just about the codes, but even the teaching behind the codes and just in general. There's so much information. I know we were talking about the package, and we were talking about even general things such as the Michael and Mary ley lines, right? And the two different lines. I mean, even that is knowledge and wisdom that for some of you will spark something, so that you might go and do some research on it, right? So everything we talk about in these calls is of service to you and is a contribution to you if you're willing to receive it in that way. And I know for me, it was like, just, the message from the Council of Nine, the messages from Archangel Michael, always so uplifting and empowering. There is no disempowerment here. This is about empowering you to live the best life you can, to create the life that you desire, to be self-empowered and have joy. This is what life is about. That life is about having joy and different experiences, but still based on joy and that connection with spirit. So yeah, I don't know. That was awesome. Thank you again, Kelly, so much. We always have so much fun. There's always so much information, wisdom that comes forth through you and Archangel Michael, and we never have enough time.
Well, thank you very much. The other thing, in closing, I guess I feel I would like to add real briefly here, and that is, because so many people know they have, want to be helpful. They want to help, right? They want to help something. They want to help someone. And in many cases, we could refer to people like that as an awakening starseed if we were going to, And so working with the codes allows you to make a difference in our world without leaving your house. Think about it,
Right. Yeah.
It's
so
really...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's really great, to feel that part of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. And, with that, I guess with that being said, I hope I didn't dissuade anyone that might want to come with us on these wonderful journeys, to think about it, because...
I know I definitely want to go to Glastonbury. I just have to look at my finances and see if I can figure it out, especially the timing for the shows and everything, So it's like I have to see when the show is going to be next season. So I'm looking at it still.
So anyway, thank you all again very much. And thank you, Laura, for having me. And God bless you, everyone.
Thank you so much. And thank you again, Archangel Michael and Kelly, for all of your wisdom, your healing codes, star codes. And, all of you for all of your questions and your comments and feedback. Yeah. Thank you so much, because it brought out more information and more codes. And, so thank you for that. You definitely want to go back and watch or listen to this again. The replay will be out a little later because I do have to go take my puppy out. But so it'll be a little bit later, but it'll be out. All right. So thank you. And the special offers are available at alara.at/show/Kelly4. So please do take a look at them and see what resonates for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me as well. All right. So thank you. Until next time.
Bye, everybody.
May you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
That was awesome.